Hello, David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. Okay, long asked, finally here. People have said, David, we'd love to see your watch collection. We've seen parts and pieces. We've seen things on your wrist every now and then. But what does your collection really look like? Is it limited to only Omega, only to the Bond films? What is it all about? And we've got to go back a little bit because I'm one of those individuals that's always been into watches. Well before I was even really connected to Bond. Yes, I was one of those kids that had like a Pooh Bear watch or a Mickey Mouse watch. And I had a Star Wars digital watch, which just blew my mind when I got it for the holidays. I was that kid. So there was a watch fascination of something, some sort of connection to a character or to a movie that I could wear on my wrist. Maybe it goes all the way back to that invisible Bond moment. I just didn't even know it at the time. But as I grew older and a little bit more mature, even watches became synonymous to certain moments in my life. Graduations, big birthdays, etc. Of course, I even have watches that have been handed down from generations to generations. Take a look here. I mean, this is a watch that is actually from my wife's grandfather. How cool is this? Clearly from the 1970s. They don't make watches like that anymore. And then this particular piece right here is my mom, listen to me, my dad's watch. My dad who received this watch. It's a gold watch with diamonds. And again, I never even looked up the worth of it. To me, it has that sentimental, nostalgic, familiar level of connection because it was my dad's. And he bequeathed it to me and he's no longer with us. So it has that kind of connection and memory. And that's a big word that we've got to focus on because a part of why I think we love watches is memory. It is a connection to a moment in our life or a moment in a film or a moment with a character. And of course, it just brings us to James Bond. Now, if you take a look at this case right now, this is the case that I have in my bedroom. You can see kind of the strafing around right now. We've got a lot of watches in there, mostly Omega and one little lone Rolex. But I want to talk about the different watches that we have so we can kind of explore this together. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this. But before we get to the case, you also should know that I have Bond watches strewn throughout my collection. Now, I know you've seen my collection. It's the footprint of my walkout basement. And I've got a different area, for those who are new to the channel, I've got a different area of this collection dedicated for every movie. And it goes in chronological order. So I start with Dr. No and go all the way through. So why don't we do this? Why don't we first start with a strafing round and take a look at the watches that are in my collection. I think you'll get a kick out of this. So it starts off with From Russia with Love. This is a Harmelton. It's just an old watch that I made into a Garrett prop. I thought it looked great in the case itself. Actually works. Nothing overtly special about this watch. But this one is very interesting because it is the Gruen Precision 510 donated by one of my followers on Instagram. And it's the correct one. Now, a lot of lore around this. They say Sean Connery's personal one was this, but it could also have been seen in You Only Live Twice and Dr. No. Who knows? But, the mystery abounds. Love this watch. It's just so unique, especially with Diamonds Are Forever. And, I happen to love Live and Let Die. So when you've got the Pulsar watch that you see here, released in 1973, it's got this really iconic twist. But look at this. This is basically a big Rolex magnet that a friend made that holds the spoon. So it replicates that moment of the magnetic watch. This is an homage watch by Watch Experimental Unit that actually replicates the bezel, the buzzsaw bezel, and makes the white markings turn to red, just like in the film. And again, homage piece, not a replica, still good. But look at this, the Seiko M35 memory bank calendar, not one, but two of them with different bands. And I love the fact that I was able to put a small prop of the explosive in between them because these things, they have to tell a story. And when you put them against the props that they truly do tell a story, which I don't know. I just happen to love that aspect. But look at this, the H357 Duo display right over here from For Your Eyes Only. Kind of rare to find, one, but then two. Again, donated by that same individual that donated the Gruen to me. This is neat because it's got analog and digital display. It's kind of the forerunner of the smartwatch. So I think it's got a little homage to the past and the future. Who doesn't like For Your Eyes Only? Now, some people don't like Octopussy. I do. It's grown on me. But why wouldn't the watches also grow in you as well? You've got some prop watches that are locator trackers, like this particular Seiko right here, which connects to the pen that I have displayed from Mont Blanc. But the TV watch is everything. I mean, the TV watch from Seiko just put people back on their heels. Funny Roger Moore moment. And yes, there was a great talented prop maker out there that made me a very titillating implant. Oh, I can't believe I said that. You know what I mean. It goes inside the watch and it's actually lenticular, so it moves and grooves with the best of them. You got to love that. Now, speaking of love, some people love A View to a Kill. I don't, I'm sorry, but I do love this two-toned Seiko that you see very briefly in the movie, again, donated to me for the collection. And here I have it displayed upside down like the nudnik I am. But, you know, just do a headstand and you'll see it. Cool watch, but it says very Roger Moore to me. It's a very sign of the times Seiko. And it speaks to Roger Moore almost like his flared lapels. It says A View to a Kill in many ways. Of course, now we've got to jump a little bit further ahead in time. So get into your time machine for Timmy Dalton, Living Daylights. And of course, this is the Tag Heuer Professional Night Dive reference, 98031. This is not the exact one. The exact one is black anodized. This is silver. What's really cool is this steel bracelet and watch I bought for my watch as a gift to my wife. And we had it for years, not knowing it was a Bond watch until pretty recently. So it was a wow moment. Will we get it black anodized to match the film? Probably not. Of course, now we have to bring it into our times here. And I have the Q watch from No Time to Die. Of course, this was made by Swatch. Comes with all the fancy packaging. So I quite like this, but I honestly, I don't wear it. I use it more for display, and it looks pretty good amidst all the craziness. Now, many of you know that I have another display room. It's got a plethora of other genres besides James Bond, but sure enough, I do have a James Bond collection area, sort of in the back workroom. But if you look very carefully among the promotional things, yep, here we've got a couple more watches hidden. We've got a GoldenEye promotional watch. We've got an MI6 watch, and we've got two Swatch watches. The Octopussy one, that was for my wife, and the On Her Majesty's Secret Service, when they were doing some of the Swatch watches from the different films. So it gives you a different idea. Pretty cool, huh? I thought you would get a kick out of that. So it's just one of these things that I think it's important to note that my love of Bond just didn't start with the Brosnan era and in its connection to the watches there. I also had a strong connection with Roger Moore, and you can see that by the development of the collection I have there, which seems like it's growing every day. As you heard, I mean, some of these things are even donated for the collection. So I'm so appreciative that they exist in the environment that they're in. But we've got to talk about watches in my watch collection that I pick up every day, that I'll wear with an outfit like this. It doesn't need to be a Bond outfit. This is not a Bond outfit. This is a Ralph Lauren. Look at that. Pretty cool, right? Ralph Lauren purple label cardigan. I've got under here a Bond Experience V-neck t-shirt. Not a Bond outfit, but I will pick up a watch that connects to a few things. My mood, what situation or environment I'm going to be in that day, and yes, its connection to the world of Bond and how I want to think about that through the day. So I could be at work and I'll say, oh, I want to pick up my Quantum of Solace. And I'll pick up my Quantum of Solace and I'll take it out and say, well, yeah, I'm feeling like it's going to be kind of a rough, tumble day. My Quantum of Solace is a tool-like watch. Oh, feels good, feels familiar. Love the connection to the movie, and I'm off to the races. But I could want something special like the 60th anniversary watch, which I just got because of its newness, its uniqueness. Like I went to New York City with my brother, went to the Omega shop, had to wear the 60th anniversary. So it's very dependent on my mood and what I'm going to experience throughout the day. You probably do the same exact thing. But let's explore the everyday watches that we have in the case. Okay, here's the treasure box. Starts with the Planet Ocean, of course, from Casino Royale. One of my favorite watches, 45.5. It's large and in charge. I wear this quite a bit. I usually wear it on the rubber strap just because it makes me feel like its connection to the movie is pretty obvious. But it's a great predecessor to a lot of the ones that I truly, truly enjoy and has that connection to my favorite Bond film. And No Time to Die. Love this. It's the titanium, of course. You know it. It's got the brown face on it. It's just so unique and unusual. I tend to wear these things when I want something a little bit light, effortless. The Milanese bracelet is still something very special. And I've got to tell you, although, yeah, I've had a little bit of toughness with some of the aspects of this film, the watch is unquestionable. All right, new love of my life. The Quantum of Solace. And it's not just because of the film. It's a nice mid-size 42 millimeter watch. It kind of goes with everything. Tuxedo, jeans, shorts. It doesn't matter. It's effortless. I just pick it up when I don't have to think, and it wears so comfortably. But of course, you've got some rare things in this box too. And the Spectre watch, the Omega Seamaster 300 reference Spectre watch that was released in 2015. This is something that's quite special. It's rare. I love the box that came with it. It still gets a lot of wear time. And I love the connection that it's a gadget in the movie. Like this one. It's my first Omega watch. Tomorrow never dies. Die another day. World is not enough. You name it. And the amount of gadgets that are associated with this watch still make it creme de la creme. The blue face, the connection to Brosnan and the Bronson, it's kind of perfect. And that's why this new one, the 60th anniversary, was so special to me. A very different blue, as you can see, but a connection all the way from 1995 to obviously No Time to Die. They just did it well. And that back, oh my gosh, the backing on that is just unapproachable. But I do have a Rolex in there. This was a modern version of the 5513. It's a no date. I wanted a no date because I wanted it to be a Rolex that looked like the one from Live and Let Die. It wears fantastic. Danielle loves it too. It just fits and feels good. But that's Danielle's watch. Yeah, she was wearing the Rolex for a time, but she wanted to pick out her own watch. We got that in Vegas at an event that Omega Bond Watches held, and she was compelled, and so was I. It's a black Tahitian pearl with diamonds. Like her sun watch. Yeah, this is a moon swatch. This is her one that she actually replaced the strap on because she didn't like the Velcro, that noise. And it looks great. And that's my Earth. So the Earth and the sun, like Danielle and I, are next to each other, nestled in the box. How adorable. But I love this watch. This is, again, my exercise watch, sort of a beater watch, but it's fun. I love that they did something a little bit different to celebrate the two brands always being together. And that's it. Well, there you go. So those are my sort of everyday wears. You saw one or two that Danielle have in there. And yes, she has, I'll call it adopted the Rolex, which nothing wrong with that. Sharing is caring. Happy wife, happy life, and every other cliche you can think of. But there you go. There is my watch collection as it exists. Now, I say as it exists because that is a really important distinction in that watch collections are like any collection, they grow. There could be an event. There could be a new Bond watch from Omega that comes out. There could be a new movie and a new Bond watch. Or maybe I would go back and say, you know something? I've always wanted the Aquaterra from Skyfall. Yeah, that's an itch that I have to scratch just down there. Down here, not, yeah. So that may happen. And who knows, we may be doing an update of this video where there is an Aquaterra. That's the thing about this. There is really no full stop to a watch collection. It just keeps going. But the other thing that I have to mention is I love the people that also go to these particular watches. They think about them, they talk about them, they collect them. They're a fun group as well, and maybe we'll be exploring them throughout the future. You just never know what's going to be on the channel. Anyway, hope that was fun. Quick strafing around, quick discussion, quick connection to the watches that I have. In the meantime, what time do you have? Talk about your watches and what do you connect to in the comments section. I read every one. And this has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. We'll see you all real soon. Take care. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.